In this video, we're going to set up alternate hand and mouth positions for our character using switches. We're actually going to learn about a new, really powerful feature of switches that we haven't covered yet. Let's start with the right hand. I'm just going to duplicate the existing hand layer, and because it's built out of shapes, I can just reposition the fingers how I want, adding in the thumb since that should be visible now. Right now, I'm mostly concerned with having views of the hand from different angles. When we're actually animating the scene, we can always make whatever specific positions and gestures we might need. That's easier if you already have a view of the hand from the right angle. Once I have a bunch of those, I can right-click the hand group and convert it to a switch. And that lets me easily switch the visibility of the different layers. And then after some fine-tuning, this hand is good to go. Then I just need to repeat the process for the other hand. I want to make sure each position we have for the right hand has a corresponding position on the left hand. Then the next place I've decided I want to use a switch is actually on the braid, but for a different reason. I want to be able to rig the braid in two different ways. I'm going to right-click the braid and make a reference because I want my two versions of the braid to be identical. Then I'm going to create a group for the first braid and call it Braid Dynamic. On this version of the braid, I'll eventually set up bones with bone dynamics that let the braid bounce and swing automatically. Then I'll make a group for the second braid called Braid Sketch. This one I'll rig with the Sketch Bone tool so I can easily animate the curve changing by hand when I want to do that. Then I need to put both of those groups into a switch group, and that will let me swap between them on the fly when I need to change my technique. Next, let's do the mouth positions. This is the fun part. So when speaking, the individual speech sounds we make are called phonemes, and there are a lot of them. However, there's a much more limited set of recognizable mouth positions, or visemes, that are actually used to make those sounds. So we can actually get by with a fairly limited set of mouth positions, and just switch between them in time with the dialogue track. However, there's a feature of switches in Moho that will help make our mouth animation much smoother. To use it, we need to set up the mouth in a specific way. I'll show you using a bigger front view of the mouth before doing it on our rig. Right now, there's a layer for each lip, but we're going to build the inside of the mouth out of separate layers as well. There's the main shape for the inside of the mouth. Then I'll add the top and bottom teeth, and a tongue. Then position those so they're hidden behind the lips. Next, I'll set this mouth group up so that the mouth inside shape is masking everything except the two lips on top. Now, this mouth group is actually just one of our positions, so I'm going to rename it to Rest, and put that inside of another mouth group that will eventually be our switch. Then I'll duplicate the resting mouth group, and we'll use this to make our Ah mouth position. Inside the Ah mouth group, I'll just shift the shapes around to make the Ah position, being careful not to delete or add any control points. Then let's make the mouth group a switch and try it out on the timeline. I'll set the switch in a starting position, and then come out later and switch it to the other position. And you can see it switches on the timeline. But now the cool part. I'm going to go to the layer settings for the switch. On the switch tab, we can enable interpolate sublayers. And now you can see the timeline is now showing keyframes because it's actually animating between the states instead of switching instantly. Now the reason it can do that is because we have layers with the same names inside the groups we're switching between. So it knows to treat the shapes on those layers as the same and interpolate the points. Now in the corner of the mouth, you can see the inside mouth shape isn't in the right position, so we're seeing gaps during the animation. On the resting pose, let's change it so the inside shape starts off with points in the corners of the mouth. Now when it interpolates, it looks perfect. So this is the technique we'll use to do the mouth on our Betsy rig. I made a version of the mouth with the interior shapes, and I just copy it and adjust the shapes to make the next mouth position. In addition to your mouth positions for speech, you can add in whatever other expressions you think might be useful. So there we go. We've got all our mouth positions set up for 3/4 view. Next, we need to start the actual rigging process and give our character some bones. We'll do that in the next video. I'll see you there.